Now, if you're thinking of buying an electric car, and lots of people are, you're now going to have to do so without help from the government. The Department for Transport has closed its plug-in subsidy scheme, which offered a grant of up to £1,500. And a spokesman for the Department for Infrastructure at Stormont has told us that the immediate closure of that scheme is also going to apply to applicants in Northern Ireland. Let's speak to Mark McCall, who's from the Electric Vehicle Association Northern Ireland. Morning to you.
Good morning, Chris.
I mean, a lot of people are thinking about moving to electric vehicles. There's a real growth in it at the moment. This has happened pretty suddenly for somebody who was thinking about buying a vehicle.
Yes, it's unfortunate there's no warning again with this announcement. We probably see this as a bit of a good news, bad news story. First, the bad news is that the grant's finishing. We think it's too soon to completely remove the plug-in car grant, especially when you consider that just 0.8% of the Northern Ireland fleet is an EV at this point. Probably the better news is that the government says it will now focus the spending on public charging, and we certainly welcome that. Again, talking about Northern Ireland in particular, our charging network here is the worst across these islands and by some margin.
Yeah, how is that going to be improved though? Because that seems like an expensive prospect, and when we talk about public charging, is it actually going to have a charge with it? Are you going to have to make people pay for this? Because there have been quite nice schemes up to this point where some people have been managing to charge their vehicles in public spots for free.
Yes, the network, the vast majority of chargers in Northern Ireland are still run by ESB, and that's still a free network. ESB told us in October last year that they would turn on pay to charge in the first half of this year. That's looking unlikely now, but I think they're still committed to do that before the end of this year. But it has to be there has to be a business model out there. We definitely need to pay to charge just for the upkeep of the chargers and to make it commercially viable for the operator. But at the same time, we want to see fair charging. It opens a whole can of worms on home charging versus public charging as well. A lot of our members can charge from home. If you can charge from home overnight on an Economy 7 rate, you have an incredibly low running costs. You're talking about maybe an 8,000 mile year costing you around £350 for your entire year's fuel cost.
Wow.
But if you're reliant on public charging, then you've got to pay a much higher rate than that.
Sarah, listening very closely to that, let me assure you.
Can I just jump in at this point from a totally selfish point of view? I do a staggering amount of miles. I've had a car for about 2 years, and I've done about 40,000 miles in it already. It's diesel, and I don't want to have a diesel car doing that amount of mileage. I want to have an electric car and be kind to the environment. But I literally cannot do the level of miles I'm doing with an electric car, can I?
I think you can, yeah. Lots of our members do high mileage. It relies on a couple of things. Can you charge at home? That's the number one. Can you charge and work? Which is also excellent. And is there a good public charging network? Unfortunately, we're falling down on the last one in Northern Ireland. If you search for EVANI on Twitter or Facebook, you'll see the graph that we produce quarterly from the Department of Transport figures. It's a pretty fair metric. It compares rapid chargers per 100,000 population. And the latest figures show that Wales is 5.5. England is around 8. Scotland has an incredible 13.6 per 100,000, and Northern Ireland is just 1.3. So we're sitting at about 1/8 of the GB average currently. There is better news, mind you, in the works. There are 5 or 6 major projects here, so things could look considerably different in the next 18 to 24 months here.
When I look at the statements from lots of motoring and car industry groups, they're criticising this decision, but the reality is we're all going to have to make the move to electric at some stage here. The big issue for lots of people is it still feels really expensive. And I don't know what Sarah's thoughts were when she was buying a car, but the idea of buying an electric car
outright is huge. It's
just the money you have to put up front. Yeah. It is a big lump of cash. That is the main problem, surely, with the move.
Yes, I'm tight.
Absolutely.
That's the main problem.
Yeah, we hear that time and time again. Two main issues: charging the vehicle and also paying for the vehicle. We've got the low 2% benefit in kind rate for company car drivers and salary sacrifice schemes here, and that's going to be available, I think, right up to committed to 24-25 financial year. But we look at envy with Scotland's interest-free loans. They have an interest-free loan of up to 30,000 for used EVs, and we reckon that would provide wider access to electric vehicles than a new car grant.
And could Stormont do that?
Absolutely. Transport has devolved in Northern Ireland. the previous DFI minister, let's say there wasn't a lot of action, there were a lot of words, but we need to see more action, and we need to look towards Scotland, and see what they're doing and the money that they're spending there. This is a one-way street now. We're all heading for EVs. There's only 90 months to the 2030 ban on purely fossil fuel cars, so we need to get this move underway.
Mark, really good to speak to you. Thanks very much indeed. That's Mark McCall from the Electrical Vehicle Association in Northern Ireland.
81771 for your text. The Department